Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish videos, and give this video a thumbs up to let me know that you like watching tag videos. Today I'm answering questions from the I'm so annoyed book tag. This was originally created by Kelly from the Books I'm Not Reading book channel. I'm gonna link the original video as well as her channel in the description down below. I was tagged specifically by Stuart from Stuart Griffin. I will link his channel in the description down below. He started uploading videos regularly fairly recently, so why don't you go and support him? So settle down with your beverage of choice. This is going to be a chatty, relaxed type of video. So let's talk about all the things that annoy us. Do publishers ever do things that you find annoying? Share an example. Yes, this came to me at random, but this is probably my biggest pet peeve of a thing that publishers do. So this is a book that I love. It's The Mystery Guest by Anita Prose. And I dislike it when I am super excited by a book, and then either on the front or in the back, the publisher uses a blurb by an author that I despise or really dislike to promote this book. In this case, it's a quote by A.J. Finn. If I remember correctly, there was a lot of drama around this author. I don't know what of it is true and what is not, but you can look it up yourself. I'm on his Wikipedia page right now, so AJ is a pen name. His actual name is Daniel Mallory. The last thing I'm going to say about this is that he has two sections on his page specifically called Allegations of Lying and Plagiarism Allegations. Make of that what you will. Take this with a grain of salt. I don't know what if this is true or not, but I'm personally not going to read from this author anymore, also just because The Woman in the Window was not a great book. To be honest, this is the only ever author where I had this kind of irritation with blurbs on other books. Have you ever been annoyed by a spoiler? Even something as simple as someone else telling you there's a great twist. Not really. I actually am enticed and intrigued when people say in their reviews that there is a great twist in there or a few that you don't see coming. For me, that's actually a sign to pick up a book. If you watched my Anna Karenina video, you know that Gilmore Girls spoiled the ending for this book for me, but I'm not mad about it because this book is so old, and that goes for any classic. If I know the ending or if I know certain key points of the stories, it's fine. I do remember though, years and years ago when I read Gone Girl, I unfortunately don't have the physical copy here with me, there is a certain formatting choice in the way that the physical book was printed that alluded to a twist in the book. I'm not going to specify in case you haven't read Gone Girl. If you haven't, please do, it's worth it. I promise it is not overhyped. So that gave something away, and I thought, oh, I wish I hadn't noticed that, or I wish the physical book wasn't printed in that way. And the only other thing that comes to mind is I know that there are certain booktubers out there who will in detail describe the summary of a plot. So there are certain booktubers that I'm subscribed to that I know that they will go a bit too much beyond what the book summary is about. They will go in a bit too much detail. So I won't name any names because I'm still subscribed to them. I love watching their videos, but usually what happens is if they start putting up a book on screen that either I'm in the process of reading or it is on my TBR and I want to pick it up, I will usually skip those parts of the video because I just know that they're going to talk too much about the plot points in a book that I don't want to know. I don't want to know those. I want to be surprised. Have you ever been annoyed by what you discovered in a little free library, a book sale, or used bookstore? Tell us what you found and why it was so annoying. To be honest, the answer to this is straight up no, because when I go to a library sale or a little free library, I just browse through the books. So if there was a problem, I just probably wouldn't pick it up. I guess the only thing that I don't love from books that I buy from a library sale are these. So like these markers to show where they once were positioned in the library. So like which aisle and which genre. Don't love it, but at the same time, it's kind of endearing to have these kind of books on your shelf. I guess it kind of looks like I stole from the library as well. But yeah, don't love it, but also not a huge issue. When it comes to short story collections, are you annoyed if there's a novella in the middle of the collection? So first of all, I don't read a lot of short story collections because usually they're not my thing. The exception to that rule is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Daisha Filio. That was fantastic, and that made me want to read more short story collections. And so to answer this question, not really. Honestly, if the short story that's a bit longer is great, I want to keep reading, I want to keep listening to it. It only becomes annoying when it drags in the middle, when I feel like, okay, this is taking up way too many pages, this could have been written 50 pages shorter. If I'm not enjoying myself, then obviously I'm going to be a little annoyed by it. Deckled edges, beautiful or annoying? I actually had to Google what this is, and I think it's this. So when the edges are texturized like this, and I love it. Exactly this format of book, I don't even know what you call it. Oh yeah, this is a signed edition. With these deckled edges, this is probably one of my favorite forms of physical copies. Other people's annotations in a used book or library book, annoying or are you okay with it? I guess it depends on how heavily annotated it is. So if, let's say, I pick up a book and kind of like in this edition that I have of Anna Karenina, there's just a few sentences highlighted and maybe small notes in it, I wouldn't be annoyed. I think it would actually enhance my experience. But if it's, you know, those annotated books that people like to show on Book Talk, on Bookstagram, on YouTube that look absolutely amazing. It looks like the person got so much out of it when there's like tabs upon tabs upon tabs and so many highlighted passages and so much written in there, and even sometimes like post-its with summaries inside the books. If I picked up a used book like that, I think that would be too much for me. I would love to get to a point where I annotate books in that way, but not by somebody else, because then I think it's a bit hard to form your own opinions and theories for a book. If there's a series or a collection of certain kinds of books, like an imprint, and changes are made, are you annoyed or okay with it? If yes, give us an example. The answer to that is no, as long as all the books in one series have the consistent size, the same type of binding, and the covers look like they belong together. I don't see an issue with that. Years and years ago, when I read this YA series called, is it Across the Universe by Beth Revis? Everybody and their mother was reading this like 10 years ago. I remember it was, I think, 4 books in a series, and the last one looked drastically different from the first 3, which I think has to do with where the book is taking place. But the first 3 looked so spacey, intergalactic-y, and then the last one just looked so different from that. I didn't love the change there. Do the decisions of characters in a novel ever annoy you? Share the book and what decisions you found annoying. I have 2 examples just because I recently read both of these books. In one case it annoys me, in one case it doesn't. In the case where it doesn't, a good example would be Anna Karenina. So there's a bunch of different characters in here, Anna Karenina included, that make horrible choices, decisions that are not the best, very impulsive, but ultimately these decisions align with their character and with their situation, and I can see where the author is coming from. There's a reasoning behind it. But in The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, a book that I recently read in a reading vlog where I read from authors that I previously have loved before. In this case, I loved Ruth Ware's The Turn of the Key. This book I despised. I ended up giving it like a 1.5 stars, I think, because the main character is insufferable, but in a way that I don't understand why the author wrote her like that. It just doesn't make sense. Are you ever annoyed by how someone organizes their books? What do you find annoying? Not really. You can organize your books however you want or leave them disorganized. The only thing, and I think everybody who I watched filming this video said this, is I found it odd when people display their books with the spines facing inward, so you can only see the edges of the book like this, so you don't know what books you're looking at. And I think that goes with like a very minimalistic, beigey interior design choices usually, which I don't like. I don't like minimalism. I don't like everything to be gray and white. Can you tell? Last question is, share something bookish that you find annoying. This is very, very broad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mention 2 things that actually came to me while I was filming this video. The first one is, so not this book specifically, but I really dislike book jackets because they always come off as soon as I pick this book up to read. I'm just not a fan. The last one is specifically for the German publishing industry. English books, specifically printed and released in the US first, are a lot of the times so interesting in color, in font, in different sizes. Even just the 3 books that I have on hand here that I'm showing you as an example. They're like different sizes. This even has like the cool, you can see it, but like it's the textured raindrops. This has the like really great feeling cover. This has the book jacket thing with a very interesting like foily snake on the cover. As you can see, they are also different sizes. So even though these 2 technically are quite close in how they were printed, they're not the same size. And I like it. I like that my books look like this. Whereas books in Germany, I pulled 3 random ones out of my shelf. It is a coincidence that these books are all bland white. So as you can see, even just the size of them is almost the same, which I used to like it because it makes your bookcase look very uniform. But now I enjoy having a variety of different heights of books and textures. These ones, look at them. The covers for German books are mostly boring. Like, what is this? So this is a shopaholic book. This is like a chick lit type of book. Somebody in publishing said, this is a chick lit, let's put something pink and fruity on there. And we keep the rest, like, what is this even? It's like white wood panels. Has nothing to do with the story. This takes place in Vegas. The English cover is like super bright and has like, I think, stars on it. That makes sense because it's Vegas. And this book, I mean, okay, I will give them this. This publisher, like literally all of their books look like this. The only thing that changes is the title, the author name, and the picture in the middle. But all of their books look exactly like this. Some people might love it. I'm not a fan. And then this one, it's like a thriller, but very minimalist. German books, especially translated ones, are toned down. And another great example for this is actually Ali Hazelwood's book. So Ali Hazelwood writes these really fun STEM romances. I will put the English covers here. And in Germany, they look like this. They look much more serious. They look like they've been written by Sally Rooney. And you cannot really tell by the cover that they're a fun, super steamy, sexy romance. You can't. This could be Call Me By Your Name. If you are German and you're seeing this, please let me know if you also prefer the brighter, fun variety of books that the, let's say, US and UK bring out, or do you prefer the more toned down, more adult, more serious versions that were published in Germany? This was obviously highly subjective, but I had a lot of fun talking about books like this. I thought that this is going to be super short to film, but now I actually went and rambled on. The last question is actually to tag the people that you want to see filming this video as well, which I'm going to do in the description box below. But if you're watching this and you feel like you want to film this, please go ahead, consider yourself tagged, and vice versa. If I tag you below, don't feel pressured to film this video. Definitely let me know in the comments down below some of your answers to these questions. I'm sure as you were watching this, you were thinking of your own answers. I want to know what you're thinking and if you agree or disagree with me. And if you just want to let me know that you're still watching, then why don't you leave me a shoe emoji? Please subscribe if you love watching bookish content, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.